Hey everybody, welcome to episode 2, FanBoy Central, the weekly show I'm working on, putting out, talking about things on the website, um, articles that have been written, things like that. First episode seemed to go pretty well, got a lot of good response from it, so figured I'd keep going. Still working out some of the kinks, so I haven't gotten any guests yet, but I have a couple lined up, and hopefully in the next couple weeks I'll be able to get them on and talk about some cool stuff. But this week, the other day, I guess first thing, I went out and bought myself iPad mini, which, I mean, if you read the articles on the website, I'm assuming you know I'm kind of an Apple guy. Figured I'd try the mini out, see if I liked it, because I use my iPad a lot for reading ebooks and things like that, and it's nice to travel with, but it's still kind of bulky. So the new iPad mini seems to work pretty well. I mean, it fits in one hand. It's pretty small, super light. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. It's got all the same features that the iPad and the iPhone has. FaceTime camera, front and rear side camera. I got the 16 gig model, which is plenty big enough for what I use it for. They do have 32 and 64 gig, but pricing wise, I don't know. I just think it seems a bit ridiculous. And then again, pricing for this is kind of ridiculous too. It's $329 for the Wi-Fi only 16 gig model, whereas buying a full size iPad starts at $399, where this is $329. So I mean, if you have the choice of one or the other, I'd go full size. Yeah, it's a pretty cool device. If you've used iPhones, iPads, Macs, stuff like that before, it's same kind of setup. Just bigger than an iPhone, smaller than an iPad. Yeah, it's got the A5 chip in it, same chip as the iPhone 4S. It doesn't have the new A6 chip in it, which, I mean, I don't know. I wish it did. Not that it's a huge deal, but if you're making it, why not put it in? But that's just my own personal grumblings. But overall, though, it's a pretty nice device. Glad I bought it, and I recommend it. Secondly, I wanted to mention I recently wrote an article on the website about telekinesis. Well, telekinesis, I guess. I was watching a TED Talk the other day, and a woman created a company that works with EEG testing, which involves putting electrodes on your head, all over your head, and it can basically measure the electrical current or whatever. I'm not an electrical guy, but measures the electrical charge, I guess, through your brain as far as what parts are active and what parts are firing when you're doing certain things like talking or blinking or moving your right hand, your left hand, things like that. And they can kind of map out and see what parts of the brain are actually involved in doing certain activities. Only problem is the current EEG testing processes involve 10 to 50 of these little electrode devices that basically get glued to your head with some kind of sticky adhesive. I've actually had one done to me a few years back, and I mean, it doesn't hurt or anything, but it's just kind of a pain in the butt. Your head's all sticky and gluey, and it takes a really long time. But what this woman basically is working on is a device that you can put on your head, and it doesn't have 50 of them. It's got like 10 or so in certain prime locations on your head. Doesn't use any adhesive at all. It's all kind of built into the frame of the unit, and you just stick it on your head, and they're kind of positioned correctly where they should be. And also it's wireless, whereas the current EEG machines and testing, every one of the electrodes has a little wire running back to a big bundle going into the computer, and I mean, you can barely move. You feel like a freaking alien or something. But the new device that she's working on, that she displayed, is all wireless. It's actually really cool. And what she kind of demonstrated was, with the device, you can calibrate it to your brain and basically get it to map out certain functions. The biggest one that I saw was, you have a disabled person quadriplegic, doesn't have access to their arms or legs, stuck in a wheelchair, and they can control the chair just by thinking. In the example she gave, they mapped thoughts to facial expressions. So, they calibrated it and tested, when he blinked his left eye, when he blinked his right eye, smiling, things like that. And with that, they'd map those to functions on the chair, to where if he smiled, it would, light up certain parts of his brain, and when those parts of the brain lit up, it would make the chair move forward. If you blink your left eye, you move left. If you blink your right eye, you move right. And granted, it isn't the best way to do things because, you might be kind of creeped out. You see some guy in a wheelchair, just big old grin on his face as he's coming towards you, not knowing that it's actually what's bringing him forward. But, it's kind of cool to think about the possibilities that can come with that. Mapping to your facial expressions is just one way to do it. I'm assuming, based on some of the examples and some of the things that they showed during the talk, you can just think forward and your chair would actually move forward. Reverse, turn, backwards, all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's a pretty cool device, and looking at the website, it looked like price range was a couple $100, $300-400, which is still a lot of money. But I mean, basically same price as the iPad. I'm assuming there's some software and stuff that has to come with it too, but just for the basic device, that's pretty cheap. But yeah, look into it. It's pretty cool. I'll put a link on the bottom of the video here to take you to the TED Talk if you want to take a look at it. Also check out the article on the site. I go into a little more detail as far as what they do and the company and stuff like that. So another thing I wanted to mention, for Christmas I got the Mel Brooks collector's set on Blu-ray. So it's basically all of his main movies. Not all of them, but a lot of the really good ones. All the classics, Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein, Robin Hood Men in Tights, Spaceballs. Classic movies that I could quote, day in and day out. Quote the whole movie. But, then there's some lesser known ones which I wasn't too familiar with. The one I just watched yesterday was called 12 Chairs. It's one of his first movies. I guess it's based off a Russian tale of some kind, and typical Mel Brooks, completely crazy, just totally out there story about a woman who on her deathbed tells a couple people that she hid her jewels in one of the 12 chairs that used to sit in their dining room. She sewed them into the fabric. So basically it's kind of a rat race type movie where these guys have to basically race to see which one of them can get to the chair first and find the correct chair. Again, crazy. Mel Brooks is in it briefly, not a ton, but Dom DeLuise is in it, and a lot of the standard actors that Mel Brooks would use over and over again as he got older and got a little more well known. But yeah, I mean, he's huge, huge, director, star. Granted, I think he's in his 80s right now, but I actually wrote an article on him a couple weeks ago. He was on the Nerdist podcast, which is one of my favorite podcasts right now. Chris Hardwick and the guys kind of got to sit down with him and, just let him tell stories of the old days and how Blazing Saddles was made and Young Frankenstein and working with Carl Reiner and stuff like that. And but yeah, I mean, if you haven't seen Mel Brooks movies, go watch one. Blazing Saddles, hilarious, laugh till it hurts kind of movie. Spaceballs is another one, makes fun of Star Wars. Rick Moranis is in it, Bill Pullman, John Candy, Mel Brooks. Great movie, one of my favorites in the world. Definitely probably one of my top 5 funniest movies of all time. And even some of the movies that aren't on the Blu-ray set, like Dracula Dead and Loving It. Leslie Nielsen's in it, who I think is hilarious. It may not be one of his most critically acclaimed movies, but I love it. It's hilarious. I've watched it since I was a little kid. I love Leslie Nielsen, and it's just kind of a cool, funny tale or twist on the Dracula tale. So yeah, that's a really good movie. Then there's, I mean, in the set, he's High Anxiety. It's kind of his tribute to Hitchcock, which I haven't seen yet, but I'll probably watch it later tonight. So I'm looking forward to that. But anyways, if you get a chance, either buy the set or, you know, rent one of his movies or check him out on Netflix or do whatever you got to do. But make sure you watch him, because the guy, you know, he's getting up in years, and you know, he's just a cool guy. Meeting with the Nerdist guys, you know, he's from listening to the interview. He just seems like a down-to-earth guy who just, you know, likes to make movies and likes to make people laugh. And I don't know, I kind of respect that. So check him out. Definitely worth it. So yeah, I think that'll wrap up episode 2 here. Like I said, you know, we're still kind of learning, and I'm kind of working out some different graphics and how to best make these videos and make them entertaining, and, you know, something you can look forward to every week. So, you know, if you like what you see, subscribe to the channel. I'll be posting stuff weekly. At this point, I haven't picked a day, but, you know, once I get rolling, I'll pick a day of the week to where they'll be coming out every week. So yeah, stay tuned. Check out the website, fanboycentral.net. Facebook, Fanboy Central. Twitter's Fanboy Central 1, because Fanboy Central was taken, of course. But yeah, check us out. Let me know what you think. Either comment here on the website, Facebook, send me a tweet, whatever you gotta do. Let me know how to make it better. Any suggestions, anything like that, I'll be glad to take a look at them and try and pull something up. So yeah, thanks. Take care.